Fear isn't just an emotion. For many people, it's a presence, something that feels alive, familiar, and impossible to fully escape. And that's exactly how NF opens the song. When he says, "Hello, darkness, my old friend, knocking at my door again," it isn't just poetic language. He's describing fear like a person, almost like an unwanted guest who knows the house code, knows the back door, and shows up whenever you least want it. You can feel the exhaustion in the way he talks about normally being strong enough to keep it out. But not today. That moment of "go ahead and come on in" is painfully relatable for anyone who's ever felt too tired to keep fighting their own mind. When NF moves into the verse, the tone shifts from "fear is knocking" to "fear is taking over." The raw honesty hits hard. He talks about OCD being worse than ever, his hands bleeding, and those intrusive thoughts that feel so out of control that he even questions his own sanity. The line where he cuts himself off mid word, "some days I actually think I might be schizo," isn't there for shock value. It's there because he's writing from the middle of a spiral. You're listening to someone wrestling with intrusive thoughts in real time. And yet, right after that chaos, he admits something even more painful. He made a promise to himself not to let fear back in, but fear still won. He's frustrated with himself, and that frustration becomes the center of this section. The idea of telling the world he's done running, only to run again, hits a nerve. It's that moment when you think you've finally grown past something, anxiety, trauma, old habits, and then it drags you back. NF calls himself a joke, not because he believes he's worthless, but because he's tired of the cycle. It's a confession that progress isn't always a straight line. Sometimes healing looks like two steps forward, one step back, and sometimes it's one step forward, five steps back. Then the lyrics widen into something bigger. He describes darkness holding out its hand and pulling him through the floor. Decisions don't feel like his anymore. He calls himself a puppet with strings, which is one of the most powerful images in the song. When fear is in control, you're not the one steering your life. You're just reacting, surviving, following whatever emotion is the loudest. And then comes that heartbreaking list: lost the keys, lost my hope, lost my will, lost my joy. It's like fear hasn't just taken his confidence, it's taken everything that connects him to himself. Keys represent access, hope represents the future, joy represents the present, faith, voice, home, friends. These are all things fear can isolate you from. This moment is NF laying out the cost of letting fear rule your life. The next major section of the song paints a dramatic but symbolic scene. NF standing back and watching his mansion burn. Fans know the mansion theme from his earlier work. It represents his mind. But here, the mansion isn't just messy or dark, it's burning to ash. And the disturbing twist is that he's holding the gas can. He's not saying, "Fear destroyed me." He's saying, "Fear made me destroy myself." This is self sabotage in its most painful form. When the voice in your head convinces you to burn down your own peace, your own dreams, your own progress. And then he turns to God with a question that so many people ask in their darkest moments: "Is this what you wanted?" It's not anger at God, it's desperation, it's confusion, it's that feeling of, why would I be given dreams and hope if they were just meant to burn? He's wrestling with the purpose behind the pain, and that question repeats again and again like a cry for clarity. Each repetition has a slightly different meaning. First, disappointment, then confusion, then fear, then a plea for reassurance. The final stretch of the song is almost like NF cataloging every emotional state he's drowning in. On the verge, on the edge, petrified, scared to death, hanging on by a thread, empty heart, nothing left, spiraling. These aren't random emotions. They're the stages of panic, breakdown, and internal collapse. It's as if he's trying to describe every angle of what fear feels like when it completely consumes you. And with every line, that haunting question returns. Is this what you wanted? It becomes a symbol of his search for meaning in the middle of suffering. By the time the song circles back to the burning mansion imagery, it's clear why this track hits so deeply. Fear isn't just something NF experiences, it's something he battles, loses to, fights again, and questions endlessly. This isn't a triumphant, I overcame fear narrative. It's an honest, I'm still in it confession. And that's what makes the song so powerful. The introduction welcomes fear like a familiar enemy, and the conclusion leaves us in the flames of that ongoing battle. But even in that fire, there's a sense of truth. Admitting fear is still here doesn't mean the story is over. Sometimes the most important part of healing is just telling the truth, saying out loud what hurts instead of pretending it's fine. NF gives us that raw truth, not wrapped in hope, but wrapped in honesty. And sometimes that honesty is the first real step toward facing fear instead of running from it.